Good morning and welcome to the MQL Suite Morning Market Report. The European stock exchanges are moving around parity halfway through the London session after inflation in the Eurozone increased in June above expectations but remained, however, below the monetary policy objectives of the European Central Bank. According to Eurostat, final consumer prices in the past month have risen by 1.3% on an annual basis in the 19 countries that have adopted the euro. In May, with a growth of 1.2% on an annual basis, a minimum had been reached since April 2018. The economists interviewed by Reuters had made a projection of 1.2%. On the month, the increase in consumer prices was 0.2%, up from 0.1% in May compared to a 0.1% expectation. On the commodities front, oil prices on Wednesday regained little ground lost in the previous session, weighed down by industry data suggesting U.S. crude inventories fell less than expected. Crude inventories fell by 1.4 million barrels in the week to July 12 to 460 million barrels, said the API on Tuesday. That compared with analyst expectations for a drop of 2.7 million. The smaller-than-expected decline suggested production shut-ins caused by Hurricane Barry late last week had little impact on inventories. Gasoline stocks also fell, but less than expected, and distillate inventories rose more than forecast. Official data from the U.S. government's Energy Information Administration is due at 2:30 GMT. In the forex market today, the euro fell to a one-week low against the dollar, towards the lower end of this year's range, weighed down by expectations of monetary policy easing and investors' preference for the greenback. Analysts suggest it is unlikely it will recover in the short term before a European Central Bank meeting next week, where policymakers might unveil plans for fresh monetary stimulus. Nearly 2 interest rate cuts of 10 basis points are priced in by money markets in 2019, and a worse-than-expected ZEV survey of German economic sentiment this week put further pressure on the struggling euro, one of the worst-performing currencies this week, along with sterling. The pound slipped to another 27-month low against the dollar in a combination of no-deal Brexit jitters and a broad-based stronger dollar. It also hit a fresh 6-month low against the euro. The dollar, on the other hand, rose on Tuesday after stronger-than-expected June U.S. retail sales data and dampened expectations that the Fed could cut interest rates by 50 basis points rather than 25 at its month-end policy review. Moving on to the economic calendar, this afternoon we're going to have a look at the Consumer Price Index from Canada, and from the United States we're going to receive the housing starts and building permits, along with the crude oil inventories as I mentioned before. That's all for today's macroeconomic report. Thank you for your attention, good day and good trading from MQL Suite.